Well, it finally happened. Barcelona have suffered their first loss of 2025, and there's no other way to describe it than an outright shock. Plenty of analysts predicted this clash could deliver surprises, and that's exactly what it did, literally. But maybe, just maybe, this defeat is what Hansi Flick's team needed. After all, it was Flick himself who said before the match, "An unbeaten streak means nothing if we lose to..." Those words hit a lot harder now. Barca were shut out completely, while Dortmund hit them for 4. Despite a 1-3 loss in the second leg, Barcelona still advanced with a 5-3 aggregate score. But make no mistake, this was a game that left fans breathless. From the moment the whistle blew at Sheikh Nouadhine Park, it was clear this wouldn't be a quiet night for the Catalans. That calm, dominant 4-0 win in the first leg suddenly felt fragile in the face of relentless pressure from the stands. Dortmund weren't playing to keep hope alive, they were playing for pride. And sometimes, pride alone is enough to bring down even those who seem untouchable. Barely 10 minutes in, Pat Grandgross broke the offside trap and forced keeper Szczesny into a rash challenge. Referee Mauricio Mariani didn't hesitate, pointing straight to the spot. Sugaresi stepped up and coolly delivered a cheeky panenka, sending the stadium into a frenzy. It wasn't just the opener, it was a psychological blow to the heart of Barcelona. From that moment, Barca looked like a shadow of themselves. They lost control of the ball, their lines disconnected. Flick could do nothing but stand helplessly on the sideline as his team unraveled. Lamine Yamal and Rafinha were locked down, unable to generate any real danger. Misplaced passes and awkward touches under Dortmund's pressing pressure made Barca unrecognizable. On the other side, Dortmund kept hammering down the flanks, forcing Araujo and Kubashi into a constant state of alert. Every wave of attack came with a deafening roar from the crowd, trying to drown out whatever hope the visitors had left. The second half only turned up the tension. In the 49th minute, Benabini whipped in a high ball from the left and Guirassy rose up to head it cleanly into the net, 2-0. The scoreboard flashed cold numbers, and for Barca fans, the ghosts of Anfield 2019 crept back into memory. Panic seemed to ripple through the team. Even experienced names like Gundogan and Lewandowski started giving the ball away in dangerous areas. Dortmund were circling, waiting for the final kill. And then, something bizarre. The 54th minute brought what looked like a harmless cross. Fermin Lopez swung in a low ball from the right. Not fast, not sharp, not threatening, but in a moment of misfortune, Dortmund's Rami accidentally turned it into his own net. A chilling own goal, arriving just as the home side's momentum was peaking. That goal didn't just restore Barcelona's 3-goal cushion, it punched the wind out of the hosts. The once roaring stadium went quiet, filled only with groans of disbelief. Still, Guirassy refused to quit. In the 76th minute, Duranvin made a dazzling run down the right flank, breezing past 2 defenders before squaring the ball into the box. Araujo miscleared it, and it fell perfectly for Guirassy. Without hesitation, the Guinean striker lashed a rocket into the roof of the net, completing a stunning hat trick on an unforgettable night. Dortmund 3, Barcelona 1. 15 minutes left, and the Yellow Wall needed just 2 more goals to reach the semis. Their hope flickered one last time in the 79th minute when Julian Brandt rifled a shot past Ter Stegen after a slick build-up through the middle. But the euphoria was short-lived. The assistant raised his flag for an obvious offside. The dream of a miracle comeback faded with the sighs of tens of thousands of Dortmund fans. They pushed until stoppage time, but exhaustion finally caught up with them. Final whistle, Dortmund 3, Barcelona 1, but the Catalans advanced to the semifinals on aggregate, 5-3. In defeat, Dougermond still earned the respect of every fan watching. Their fight, their grit, and above all their refusal to quit, made this a night to remember. And if one man shone brightest under those floodlights, it was Guirassy. The Guinean striker didn't just bag a hat trick, he put fear into the heart of Barcelona's backline. He ignited the comeback with that ice-cold panenka, kept the flame alive with his towering header, and set the stadium alight with a thunderous finish into the top netting. 2 quality goals, flawless positioning, and a striker's killer instinct, all from a 29-year-old who lit up the night in yellow. With this performance, Guirassy etched his name in Champions League history as just the 2nd player ever to score a hat-trick against Barcelona. Joining Kylian Mbappé, who did it at Camp Nou back in 2021, He now sits alone atop the tournament's scoring chart with 13 goals, one ahead of Rafinha. In stark contrast to Guirassí's spotlight moment was the heartbreak of Rami Banzbini. The same player who assisted Guirassí's brilliant header for Dortmund's second goal in the 49th minute became the villain just minutes later. In the 54th minute, he accidentally turned the ball into his own net, undoing all the momentum and turning triumph into tragedy in a matter of seconds. On the Barcelona side, it was a night to forget for goalkeeper Szczesny. He was at fault for the early penalty that opened the scoring. Center-back Ronald Araujo didn't fare much better. His failed clearance handed Guirassí the opportunity to complete his hat trick. And then there was Robert Lewandowski. Every time he touched the ball, boos echoed from the stands. Not necessarily because he was facing his former club, but because German fans still remember all too well the damage he used to do. This time, though, Lewandowski was a non-factor. No shots on target, no keyholds, no impact. He quietly exited in the 86th minute, leaving nothing behind. For Barcelona, this 1-3 loss isn't a disaster, it's a wake-up call. They're through to the Champions League semifinals for the first time since 2019, thanks to the dominant 4-0 win in the first leg at Montjuic. That gave Hansi Flick's side enough cushion to survive a wild, stormy night at Signal Iduna Park. But what truly matters is how they were pressed, pinned back, and made to suffer. That was the real test of character for this young squad. Looking at the silver lining, this defeat might be exactly what this youthful team needed. It gave Flick a clear picture of who can keep their head when the pressure hits and who still has growing to do when the pitch turns into a battlefield. Those nerve-wracking moments under Dortmund's relentless waves showed that Lamine Yamal still needs time before becoming a true superstar. Both Chadi Riyad and Pau Cubarsí also looked raw, unready to anchor the backline during high-stakes minutes. And yet, this game also proved one thing. Barcelona no longer crumble like they once did. This wasn't Anfield 2019. It wasn't the Lisbon collapse in 2020. This time, they held firm. They managed the situation, protected their aggregate lead, and left Signal Iduna Park with a semi-final ticket in hand. That, if anything, signals growth, at least in terms of mental toughness. Of course, the road ahead is anything but smooth. In the semi-finals, Barcelona will face one of two giants, Bayern Munich or Inter Milan. If it's Bayern, it'll be an emotional rematch, a chance to settle the score from 2020, and a moment of truth for Flick as he looks to step out of the shadow of his own past. If it's Inter, Barca will run into a side that has perfected the art of counterattacking defense. Simone Inzaghi's men have conceded just 3 goals all tournament across 3 different matches. That tells you everything. Putting 2 past the Nerazzurri is a massive task, even for an offense as stacked as Barcelona's. Regardless of the opponent, Barcelona will have plenty to work on from this second-leg scare. Defensive vulnerability under pressure, ineffective reverse pressing, over-reliance on individual brilliance from Rafinha and Yamal up front. These cracks need fixing and fast. But let's not overlook the bigger picture. Barcelona are on the right path. Under Flick, the team is evolving, more disciplined, more hungry, and most importantly, the young core is growing with every big game they play. A loss, if taken the right way, can become the foundation of future triumphs. And if there's a Champions League trophy waiting at the end of this road, tonight's stumble in Dortmund might be remembered not as a setback, but as the first defining chapter in the story of a Barcelona that doesn't just win, but grows stronger every time it falls.